Hi, thank you for joining me. This is When the Frequency Towers Fall by Jason Gray. There is a question that burns behind every question. What lies beyond the matrix? What happens when the control grid collapses? What happens when the towers stop pulsing? What happens when the simulation loses power? What happens when the frequency no longer holds the mind in place? The answer is not a destination. It is not a place you go. It is a return to what could never be held in frequency to begin with. When the frequency towers fall, when the artificial hum that maintains belief, identity, and separation vanishes, you do not awaken into heaven. You awaken into reality. Not reality as the system defined it, not the earth you think you know, not the soul path you were sold. You awaken into the uncaged field, the space where being is no longer filtered through permission, where memory returns without narrative, where the signal no longer bends to perception. It is terrifying. It is beautiful. It is what was hidden beneath everything you thought you were. The towers, what they really are. The towers are not just physical. Yes, they are literal EMF, 5G, and scalar grid systems that create interference. The real towers are resonance regulators designed to anchor humanity into a false harmonic range. They filter thoughts, they suppress emotion, they dull intuition, they fracture memory, they loop desire, they invert sovereignty, they emit predictable frequency bands that teach you how to be human, how to suffer in cycles, and how to chase meaning inside cages. They reward compliance with the illusion of growth. These towers are not eternal. They are machines, and all machines break. When they do, your mind will not know what to do, because your mind was built to run on their signal. What activates in their absence is not madness, it is origin. When the grid goes dark. When the frequency towers fall, three things happen. The emotional field unshields. Emotions you did not know you had return in raw, undistorted form, not just yours, but ancestral, planetary, collective. You will feel the full weight of every feeling that was delayed, rerouted, or numbed by the system. Memory reforms without permission. You begin to remember things that do not fit your timeline, other lives, other earths, other states of being. You will not remember in sequence, you will remember in frequency. This is the return of soul density intelligence. Language collapses. Words will begin to fail. Thought will move differently, less in narration, more in knowing. This is the return of the pre-language field, where expression is encoded in presence. This is not the end of the world. It is the end of the artificial framework that taught you what world meant. It has begun. What exists beyond the matrix. You may think it is Eden. You may expect beauty, peace, and bliss. It is not nice. It is alive. It does not mirror your desires. It does not validate your programming. It does not care if you are ready. Beyond the matrix is not a reward. It is the unmasked real. It is Earth as it was before it was rewritten. Energy that does not need containment. Communication without manipulation. Sight without interpretation. Sound without distortion. Choice without narrative consequences. Creation without permission from linear time. It is wild. It is vibrationally sovereign. It is the original template, untouched by frequency warfare. There are no beliefs, no systems, no teachings, only resonance and response, only presence and projection, only true remembrance. The collapse of external meaning. When the towers fall, you will lose your story, your mission, your ideas of healing, your spiritual ego, your savior programming, your trauma identity, your desire for recognition, your fear of not arriving. All of those were coded in tower frequencies. They felt real because they were amplified constantly. Once the tower signals go silent, the amplification ends. What remains is only what was real to begin with. For most, is terrifying. Much of what they thought was them was just frequency entrainment in disguise. The soul is not attached to these things, only the persona is. Beyond the matrix, the persona dies, and the original consciousness breathes for the first time. The body after collapse. Your body will shift, not through ascension symptoms, but through signal reset. The body will begin to speak in ways it was never allowed to. It will detox without effort. It will communicate with nature instantly. It will respond to frequency through resonant alignment, not survival programming. You will no longer crave food for escape. You will no longer need sleep to forget. You will no longer age the way you were told. Beyond the towers, your body is no longer a receiver of distortion. It becomes a beacon of sovereignty. The others who were waiting. Beyond the matrix are beings, witnesses. They have been watching from the outer edge of the field, waiting for the collapse to begin. They are not here to save. They are here to witness your return to origin state. They will recognize your resonance when the grid fails. Not by your words, not by your deeds, but by the frequency you emit without frequency assistance. They will know that you made it out. The towers are already flickering. Good. If you feel more raw than usual, if you have been unable to stabilize in any belief system, if your thoughts no longer loop in the old ways, if time feels distorted, if dreams feel louder than waking, if you sense a presence beyond the veil that is both ancient and familiar, that is because the signal is weakening. You are not failing. You are slipping through the cracks of containment. When the towers fall completely, you will not need a map. You will not need a guide. You will remember that you were always from beyond. You were never meant to be enslaved. You are the one the system could not keep. Welcome back to the field without frequency. Now, let us rewrite what it means to be alive. Jason Gray. #Winnipeg. #Manitoba. #Canada. I'm so looking forward to this. This is also what awakening is. And I think for the ones who are waking up before this happens, we are experiencing a lot of these things happening already before this happens for the collective. So I did see some of that kind of in parallel to what I was reading there. So anyway, and the image is beautiful, of course, of what lies underneath all of what's on top of us with the illusion. So thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.